If you want a speedy metabolism, you are in the right place. I'm Healthy Emmie, I'm a weight loss specialist, and I'm going to break it down for you today with the exact cheat codes presented in the do's and the don'ts. Like I said, I'm Healthy Emmie. I'm the creator of the Slim program and app and Slim supplements. If you want to learn more about how to get a custom meal plan, custom workout plan, access to me directly so that I can answer all your questions and help you along the way, all of that information is in the description bar. I'm coming at you with hack number one, don't number one. If you want to increase your metabolism, you have to increase your muscle mass. Muscle mass is metabolically active tissue, meaning the more muscle you have on your body, the more calories your body burns at rest. What is a metabolism? It's how many calories your body burns. This is why these big men can eat so much food and not put on fat, because they have so much muscle, and that muscle is burning so many calories just by existing. So putting on muscle mass is absolutely imperative, and it's something that many people overlook on their pursuit to becoming quote unquote skinny. And it's a reservation that I have with a lot of GLP-1s, is that the weight loss is so rapid and many people are not pairing it with weight-bearing exercise that they end up losing tons of muscle mass and their body burns less calories. This is why too, in my Slim program, when you join the Slim program, you get to state what your goal is. And for many people, their goal is to gain muscle, which is one of the workout programs available for gaining muscle, so that you can burn more calories by putting on that lean muscle mass. Women often avoid weightlifting because they don't want to bulk up. They don't want to get bulky. Listen to me when I tell you, you do not have the hormones to become bulky. You need testosterone to do that. And women have teeny little bit of testosterone. So you're not going to become bulky. We have estrogen, which is a fat storage hormone. So we're not going to become bulky. You couldn't do it if you tried, unless you were supplementing with testosterone, illegal substances, steroids. Now, there is something that I want to note here, because sometimes women say, well, it is the case that my arms are looking bigger. And the reason for that is because women will focus on building tons of muscle, but they won't go into any fat loss phase. And you could have a ripped body underneath a lot of fat stores. So this is something that you want to pay attention to as well, is that you go into different phases of focusing on muscle gain, then focusing on fat loss, then focusing on muscle gain, so that you can allow your body to show off the incredible muscles that you have hidden underneath fat. Now, many people get confused as well, because they don't know, do I have fat on my body? Is this muscle? Is this inflammation? Is this water weight? And if you're kind of wondering the same thing, like, do I have a great body underneath these fat stores, or am I just inflamed? What is this weight gain? Is it muscle gain? I've been talking to my mom about this recently. You absolutely must get this product. This is the Hume Body Pod. I just got one for my parents, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. But this is going to tell you what your body composition is. It's not just going to spit out a number that's your weight. It connects to an app on your phone, and it tells you what your muscle mass is, your skeletal mass. It tells you your metabolic age. It's going to tell you exactly what's going on in your body and where you're storing fat, where you have lots of muscle, where you don't have enough muscle, so you get a full picture of what's truly happening, to 98% medical grade accuracy. So it's so easy to do. You step on it like a regular scale, but then you pull this up and you hold this while you're on the scale, and it's going to tell you right through the app exactly what's going on with your weight today. How much water do you have? Are you holding on to more water today? Is your muscle mass up? Is your body fat percentage down? So there's no more guessing what's going on here. I'm not quite sure. You get an exact answer, which can tell you, should I focus on fat loss right now? Should I focus on muscle gain? Now, I just got one of these for my parents. You've seen in the vlog my dad showing off about his metabolic age, because it also tells you your metabolic age. My dad is 67 and his current metabolic age is 55, and he's just rubbing it in my mom's face. But I, was at my bachelorette party this weekend, and I was talking to one of my close friends, and she was saying, I've gained a few pounds recently, but I've also been working out, so I'm not sure if it's muscle gain. And I said, you have to get the Hume Body Pod, because I could see her spinning like she wasn't sure. Should I focus on fat loss? Should I? And she looks fantastic and healthy and vibrant. And I told her, you look incredible, but also for peace of mind, get the Hume Body Pod, which is gonna tell you where your body fat percentage is sitting. This is FSA and HSA eligible, so it's a no-brainer. You could end up getting this for free, basically. And I have a code that gets you a massive discount. You can use the code Emmy to get up to 50% off of your Hume Body Pod. It also syncs up with other smart devices that you use, like an Apple Watch or a Fitbit. So that's a great thing to sync up as well. I always recommend this to my clients. So thank you, Hume, for sponsoring this section of today's video. So the do and don't here, don't focus on just getting wicked skinny, focus on building lean muscle mass. In the morning with my morning cup of, not Joe, my morning cup of tea. But for many people, this is a morning cup of Joe, which is not exactly what I'm gonna talk about. I'm not gonna talk about the coffee thing, but I am gonna talk about the fact that a lot of people try to do intermittent fasting to speed up their metabolism, and they replace breakfast with this, a liquid breakfast. Let me tell you what happens when you do that. When you use caffeine in the morning to stave off hunger, which you might be doing subconsciously, what happens is your body is riding this high of caffeine and this adrenaline, and your poor little body is trying to send you signals that it genuinely needs food, but you can't hear it because you're on the caffeine buzz. And by the time that wears off around 2, 3 o'clock, that just so happens to coincide with the witching hour, where it goes downhill for everybody. Because finally, around 2 or 3 o'clock, when that caffeine has worn off, you can now detect what your body's true needs are in terms of fuel. And your body has been trying to tell you for hours, hey, we need fuel, and it all catches up with you in the afternoon. I do not recommend skipping breakfast. I do not recommend intermittent fasting. It always backfires. I recommend eating regularly throughout the day. Not only is this going to support your thyroid, which is one of the drivers of your metabolism, but also let's talk about the hormonal side of this. Ghrelin and leptin are the main hunger fullness hormones. Ghrelin is the one that makes you feel hungry. Leptin is the one that makes you feel full. When you eat consistently throughout the day, you help regulate those levels. When you're eating inconsistently, unpredictably, and going long stretches of time without eating, your leptin hormone, which is the one that makes you feel full, is suppressed. You're not going to feel full as quickly. On top of that, insulin, which is a fat storage hormone, your sensitivity to insulin, how much your body is going to release, is dependent upon how stable your blood sugar is, which is dependent upon how regularly you're eating. So if you're eating very erratically, chaotically, and unpredictably, your body is going to become less sensitive to insulin, which means it's going to release more of it, and the more insulin it's releasing, the more your body's likely to store fat. Most of the intermittent fasting studies that you have seen have been done on men. Intermittent fasting is when you, basically for most people, they're skipping breakfast. They're not eating until later in the day. They're shortening their eating window. Women are not little men. We are entirely different creatures with an entirely different cocktail of hormones, and it actually wreaks havoc on our hormones. As women, we need to be eating regularly throughout the day. Now, something that I often hear is, Emmy, I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry during the morning. I've trained my body to not be hungry in the morning. Well, this is a big part of it because you're having caffeine, which is drowning out those hunger fullness cues, but you've conditioned your body to not send you any hunger signals in the morning. So this is gonna be a little bit of a funky transition, but nothing changes if nothing changes. And eventually, when your body starts to feel its rhythm again, it starts to feel safe again, it's gonna start sending you those hunger signals in the morning. But it is going to be a little bit of a rocky, funky transition. That's okay, that is temporary as you get into a groove where your body will start to send you those signals again in the morning. Tip number 3 is piggybacking off of my first tip when I talk about the importance of eating consistently. And it is breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, dinner like a pauper. And this is one that is very uncomfortable for a lot of people because most people have it flipped, where if they even eat breakfast, it'll be teeny tiny, lunch will be bigger, and then they eat the majority of their calories later in the day, which is not a wise thing to do because then you go to sleep and your body's in repair mode. It's not going to be burning those calories. Whereas when you eat the majority of your calories earlier in the day, you're going to be burning off those calories and using them during the day. So you train your body body to burn calories as opposed to training your body to store calories. And the biggest thing that I see here is that this prevents overeating later in the day. And it is usually the people who overeat later in the day that are very stubborn about eating a bigger breakfast. They think, well, I have an overeating problem later in the day, so if I eat a big breakfast, then I'm just gonna eat a gajillion calories today. But that sort of mentality keeps them on this exhausting hamster wheel of restricting in the morning, overeating later in the day, and training their body to be in feast or famine state. If you want to train your body to burn food as fuel, burn calories, and not to store fat, then you need to shift your eating to eating calories earlier in the day so that your body can actually put them to use. So the do is eat more calories during the day, and the don't is this. This is like Jenga. The don't is don't eat a tiny breakfast and then eat all your calories later in the day. And I'm gonna tell you, I see people do this. They eat barely anything during the day and they eat all their calories at night. Not a good idea. I have my sneakers on for this next one because the next trick is to walk after meals. Even if it's only for 5 minutes of movement, this has a massive impact on your blood sugar levels. When you move your body after walking, your muscles have to pull glucose from the blood, effectively lowering your blood sugar. And why is that important? Why do we want to lower your blood sugar? We want to lower the amount of insulin that's in your blood because remember, insulin is a fat storage hormone. So we don't want to have too much of it floating around. And you do that by going for a walk after a meal. And I don't want you to fall into black and white thinking. I don't want you to think, oh, well, I work in an office. I can't just go for a walk. Shorten your lunch by 5 minutes and then go walk the stairs in your office building. Go out to your car, walk laps around the parking lot for 5 minutes. If there's a will, there's a way, right? When you sit after meals, your blood sugar is gonna spike higher, it's gonna stay elevated for longer, and you're more likely to be storing fat. Your digestion is going to slow down as well. Walking after meals is going to stimulate digestion and keep everything moving. This is not saying that you can never relax after a meal. It's about making movement a part of the meal. So if you normally have lunch for 30 minutes, have lunch for 25, movement for 5, that's your new lunch routine. Next hack coming at you from my spice cabinet with way too much headroom in this shot. That's better. So you know, little organized me, of course, has spices. Here are the game changers. Where is she? Cinnamon. Warming spices like cinnamon literally warm up your body, and it's like turning up the thermostat on your body, and the more you turn up the thermostat, the more calories your body is burning. Studies also show that cinnamon helps regulate your blood sugar. I'm always adding cinnamon to my sweet potatoes, which I always did just because this is my favorite taste in the world, cinnamon, and I just love the taste of it, and then learned there's so many metabolic benefits, and I was like, let's go. It also activates thermogenic responses in your fat cells. So it's basically activating the fat cells to get moving. Let's burn. Let's get the heck out of here. Turmeric contains curcumin, which is shown to reduce inflammation and reduce inflammation in the fat cells. It helps regulate lipid metabolism, which is fat metabolism. It also improves insulin sensitivity. The potency in your absorption of turmeric is going to be incredibly affected by whether or not you are adding pepper. So make sure if you're having turmeric, you also are having black pepper with it. I think it increases absorption by up to like 2,000% or something crazy. You gotta turn on the turmeric. So easy to add to chili, roasted vegetables. I love to add it to my tofu scramble because it gives this nice yellow color. Next is cayenne pepper. Again, cayenne pepper is going to turn up the thermostat. It's literally like, picture it like you have a thermostat of heat and you turn it up and you're like, oh, the energy bill is gonna go up because we're using more energy here to turn up the heat. That's literally what you do when you eat cayenne pepper. Then we have ginger, and it's found that ginger enhances fat metabolism. It reduces hunger. There was a study found that including ginger also increases your calorie burn. It's like, why not? So you can make ginger tea. You can buy fresh ginger root and you can chop it up and freeze it, and then you'll have little cubes of fresh ginger that you can boil in water and add in some lemon, add in a little bit of maple syrup, and have a nice little drink. So the do is include spices. The don't is don't think, oh, this isn't gonna do anything. That mentality is black and white thinking, and that's gonna keep you trapped because you think that you have to make these huge, grand gestures in order to see results, which is not true. Comment a blue emoji if you made it to this point of the video. Don't forget that you can join the Slim program, get a custom meal plan, custom workout plan, access to me to answer all of your questions, Slim supplements as well, vitamin B12 and D3 are linked in the description bar, and you can get up to 50% off of your Hume Body Pod using the code Emmy. I love you, honeys. If you liked this video, you're gonna love the next one that pops up on the screen. It is also about metabolism. So I will see you in that video. Mwah!